Sex is not just an act. Sex is a mirror. It shows the rawest corners of our humanity. It reveals our longing, our fear, our need, and our emptiness. It is both the fire that creates life and the fire that destroys it. Many treat sex as casual. Many treat it as sacred. But very few understand its true weight. Sex is not just physical friction. It is a language of the soul. It is a conversation of the body that can either liberate you or enslave you. In a world where pornography sells fantasy and social media sells skin, the meaning of sex has been twisted. It has been sold as a product instead of a power. And here lies the truth. Sex is power. Lust is energy. But energy without direction destroys. The one who cannot master their sexual energy becomes a prisoner of their own body. The one who can rises above the chains of desire and uses it as fuel for greatness. But let us begin at the very core. Lust is not evil. Lust is primal. It is the raw call of nature to reproduce and continue the chain of life. Lust is the instinct coded in every cell. But humans are not just animals. We carry consciousness. We carry reason. We carry choice. And this is where the struggle begins. Because lust in its pure form is blind. It does not care about love. It does not care about respect. It does not care about soul. It just seeks release. The body does not ask if your mind or heart is ready. It only asks for satisfaction. And this is the battlefield. This is where Stoicism enters. Stoicism teaches us to rule our passions instead of being ruled by them. It tells us that discipline is freedom. That without mastery over desire, you are no different than a slave tied to invisible chains. The lust that blinds you is the lust that owns you. The lust that you tame becomes your strength. Pornography exploits this very weakness. It hijacks the primal mechanism of desire. It tricks your brain into thinking it has conquered and reproduced, when in reality, you have only wasted your energy on pixels and illusion. The chemicals released in your brain flood you with fake victory. You feel empty after release because nothing real has happened. No connection, no intimacy, no exchange of soul. Just dopamine stolen from your own system. This is why porn becomes addictive, because the mind begins to crave that hit again and again. And the more you consume, the more numb you become. What once excited you no longer excites you. You search for more extreme content. You spiral deeper into fantasy, until real intimacy feels boring, until real partners feel like not enough. Porn turns humans into ghosts. Bodies without depth, faces without soul. It kills the art of touch. It kills the beauty of waiting. It kills the sacredness of desire. But the problem does not stop there. Sexting, revenge porn, cyberbullying, these are children born from the same disease. When lust is unchecked and when technology is weaponized, sex becomes not a bond but a weapon. Sexting feels like a game, a thrill, words and pictures exchanged in secrecy. But once sent, they are no longer yours. They can be saved. They can be shared. They can be used against you. The same desire that once felt exciting can turn into shame overnight. And then comes revenge porn, a cruel act of betrayal. Someone takes what was private and makes it public. They use intimacy as humiliation. They weaponize desire into violence. And this is one of the darkest forms of such, because it does not just attack your image, it attacks your very dignity. It turns your trust into a sword that cuts you. Sex should never be reduced to blackmail. It should never be reduced to entertainment. It should never be reduced to cheap trade. Yet this is where society has fallen. We celebrate lust, but we do not educate it. We encourage desire, but we do not guide it. We worship bodies, but we forget souls. This is why so many feel broken. They chase orgasm after orgasm, but feel hollow. They chase partner after partner, but feel lonely. They chase images, but never feel touched. Because sex without meaning is emptiness disguised as pleasure. It gives you a rush and then leaves you emptier than before, and the cycle repeats. Until you are drained, until you are ashamed, until you are addicted. But let us pause and see this deeper. Sexual energy is not meant to be wasted. It is the same energy that fuels creativity. It is the same energy that drives ambition. It is the same energy that makes people build, write, paint, and lead. Every culture has spoken of this. Ancient Tantra spoke of sexual energy as divine. Stoics spoke of control over desire as the highest freedom. Sufis spoke of burning in longing not for flesh, but for the divine. And today neuroscience proves it. The same dopamine that rushes in lust is the same dopamine that fuels motivation. If you waste it daily, you weaken your will. If you guard it, you sharpen your purpose. This is why people who practice self-control feel stronger. This is why celibacy has been practiced by saints, warriors, and leaders. because they understood that sex is not just fun, sex is fire, and fire can cook your food or burn your house. The choice is yours. Now let us face the modern battlefield. Social media is the new brothel. Scrolling through endless images of bodies, half-dressed, posing, teasing, manipulating attention. This constant exposure numbs you. It makes lust casual. It trains your brain to see people not as souls but as bodies. It trains you to objectify. It trains you to compare. And this creates a silent war inside you, because when you finally meet someone in reality, your brain does not see them as whole. It sees them as fragments. It sees them as filtered illusions. And then you struggle to feel love. You struggle to feel presence, because your mind has been rewired by endless pixels. This is how lust, left unguarded, becomes not passion but poison. But do not mistake this message as condemnation. Sex is not to be demonized. Lust is not to be cursed. They are gifts, but gifts that demand responsibility. Just like fire, just like money, just like power. If you learn to master them, they elevate you. If you let them master you, they destroy you. This is the middle path, the path of balance, the path where you can feel desire without drowning in it, where you can touch someone with love instead of hunger, where you can use your energy to create instead of escape, where you can stand strong in temptation and know that your freedom is not in indulgence but in control. This is where true sex education must rise, not the biology of reproduction, not the shallow talk of protection, but the deeper wisdom of discipline. Children are taught how babies are made, but they are not taught how lust manipulates the mind. They are not taught how porn rewires the brain. They are not taught how sexting can become blackmail. They are not taught how revenge porn destroys dignity. And because they are not taught, they fall. They fall into the traps of desire without guidance. They fall into addiction without knowing what is happening. They fall into depression after being betrayed. All because society fears to speak openly, but silence has created more pain than truth ever could. Sex education must be more than anatomy. It must be philosophy. It must be psychology. It must be spiritual. People must know that every choice with their body leaves a mark on their soul, that every picture they send can become a chain, that every orgasm without meaning can leave emptiness, that every desire without discipline can enslave, and at the same time, that every choice of discipline strengthens the will, that every act of respect builds intimacy, that every restraint builds power, that sex, when honored, becomes not just pleasure but peace.